All right, guys, let's get into it. The Washington football team. Joey, what do we think about their quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick, for fantasy purposes this season?
Well, we've seen Fitzpatrick have success before, right? It's been streaky. It's been very streaky. It's funny. I was talking actually to my brother about Washington, and the way I described him to my brother was Ryan Fitzpatrick kind of reminds me of like off-brand Brett Favre.
That's a very good way to put it.
Yeah, he's a gunslinger. He's going to throw it downfield, but he's not Brett Favre. It's not always going to be sunshine and roses and touchdowns. There's going to be some picks and something ugly in there, but he's gonna throw it down there anyways.
Yeah, I agree. Great value, Brett Favre. I'm probably not going to be targeting him in drafts. I don't think he'll be drafted in many leagues, but I think he will be a streaming candidate in a lot of weeks.
Yeah, I'm totally in agreement there. I actually have a question for you. So you are the resident Washington fan.
Yes.
Clearly. So with Fitzpatrick, what do you think? No, I'll rephrase. Do you think his ceiling, the highest of high ceilings, is a low-end QB1?
Yeah. His highest of ceilings? Yeah, definitely. You could definitely crack the top 12 for fantasy. It's tough, though, because he usually has those streaks where he's great and those streaks where he's terrible. That's probably what's going to happen here. He's an older quarterback. I wouldn't bet on it, but there's definitely a world where he cracks the top 12.
Yeah. I'd say like 11 probably is the highest there.
Yeah. Well, moving on, the running back situation, Antonio Gibson and McKissick. Gibson was great for fantasy last year. No reason to not think he'll be great this year. What's your opinion on these two running backs?
I think you're totally in line with Antonio Gibson. I'm agreeing there, but the only concern is the toe. News came out last week about he said that he still kind of had some lingering issues about the toe. And if that continues into the regular season, hopefully not. He'll be fine through training camp and everything. But that's something to monitor. And it may. Here's a good thing though. I think the silver lining is it could devalue him in drafts. So you could be seeing Antonio Gibson fall a little bit later than he might be going right now. So that would be pretty nice.
That'd be incredible. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. And plus, McKissick is still there. Do you think he's going to factor a lot into the game plan this year?
He kind of that third down back role. He's not going to take a ton of value away from Gibson. I probably won't. I wouldn't. Would you draft him in a later round, McKissick? Spend a draft pick?
Maybe. It'd be like the last pick for me.
I think in our mock draft last week, he was one of our options, and we kind of talked ourselves away out of it. So
we did. There was a lot of hype around Gibson getting a lot more work in the passing game, but that's could be coach speak. Who knows?
So where do you think Gibson finishes this year for the fantasy running backs? Half point PPR.
I'd say he's a low end RB1, but his ceiling, the talent's there for like possibly a top 5 season for him. But I'd say low end RB1.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I think similar to what he did last year, low end RB1, high end RB2. I think that's where he finishes again. Moving on to these wide receivers, Terry McLaurin. Great wide receiver. They also have Samuel and Brown now on the team. What's your take with these guys?
Terry McLaurin is uber talented guy. Very talented wide receiver. And I think there's some reports out of camp saying that he's building a rapport with Fitzpatrick. Best thing that could happen. The best thing that could have happened for McLaurin was getting somebody like Ryan Fitzpatrick on the team, so he can he can really show off pretty much. I think did you make the claim last year, the bold prediction, him being, was it wide receiver 1?
Yeah. My bold prediction for 2020.
I mean, that was still a decent take compared to mine with Henry Ruggs as wide receiver 1. So that was still a good take. I think there's a world where he finishes as a wide receiver 1 this season, though. But with the addition of Curtis Samuel and then Diami Brown, I still don't think that takes away too much from McLaurin. What do you think?
I really like Ryan Fitzpatrick for McLaurin. He's a gunslinger, like you said. He's going to air it out, and McLaurin, he can make the contested catches. He just gets open. It's going to be great for him. He has a tremendously high ceiling this year. Now, the other two, Curtis Samuel, we kind of saw how Ron Rivera used him in Carolina, and I don't think that will change. I think that will be a pretty similar role. And he was okay for fantasy in that situation. I wouldn't mind taking him with, one of those last few picks in drafts. It's worth a shot. Brown, we'd have to see something before you add him to your roster, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. We haven't really seen a whole lot yet. He's going to be a waiver pickup. I think he has potential to be one of those really sought after waiver wire guys. But Curtis Samuel, about him, Rivera's used him as a running back at sometimes. Now, a lot of that last year when he was used as a running back was because McCaffrey was out, right? So if Antonio Gibson goes down, do we see Curtis Samuel step in, or does Curtis Samuel still get in while Antonio Gibson's, still healthy?
Yeah, I think you'll definitely see him gain carries. I think it's a mistake to not use him that way.
Dude, that may also devalue Gibson a little bit too.
I don't know. I don't feel like it does. Do you?
I kind of feel like it does, but I still would take Antonio Gibson though.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I'm not going to take him because of that, but that could bump his value.
See,
down
I
in
think
drafts.
Maybe. I only see Samuel getting only like 2 to 3 carries a game, if they use him in that type of role. So
it could be, but that's part of the offseason, though. I want Antonio Gibson to go sink down his ADP to drop because of rumors like that, and then snag him. Yeah. So I think you're right, but it made into it.
All right, now let's get into the tight end, Logan Thomas.
Yeah, I was thinking about him earlier today. That sounded weird now that I say it. Just daydreaming of Logan Thomas. No, I was thinking about
giant athletic men.
So Logan Thomas was a waiver wire. It was a great pickup on the wire last year. But a lot of that was due to, I think, Alex Smith checking down a ton and the lack of depth behind McLaurin at wide receiver. Now you've got Curtis Samuel in, and you've got another rookie wide receiver, and you have a different quarterback. I think that, I'm not really looking at Logan Thomas in my drafts. Are you?
Absolutely not. And it's not that I don't think he's a good player. It's just that in the mock draft we did, his ADP is high. He's being drafted very high I do not value him that highly. I think there's plenty of other tight ends who are better that are going later. Kyle Pitts, I think, went after him, and I think Kyle Pitts will be a much better fantasy value this year. So I am avoiding Logan Thomas. If his ADP drops those later rounds, sure, maybe. But where he's going now, no way.
Honestly, still, I probably wouldn't take him later either. I think there's better options. You could get some more volume guys, maybe like Adam Troutman. Jared Cook could be another good volume play. The Patriots tight ends, I think, would be a little bit better than Logan Thomas. I think he's he's a time bomb. He's going to explode on somebody when they draft him.
Yeah, I agree. Washington defense. Now, I actually like the defense for fantasy. They got some superstars on that defense. The D-line is basically Alabama.
You're right.
And I think in our mock draft, we got them with the very last pick. I think that's a steal. What do you think?
Yeah, Washington defense is going to be a top 5 unit all year. I don't see how they don't finish as a top 5. The D-line alone can wreck a game plan. Because, I mean, you have to defend Chase Young and Montez Sweat on the end, and then you have Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen in the middle. That right there, I mean, yeah. You don't even need the secondary at that point. If one of them gets in, I mean, it's they very well could finish as the number 1 defense. So if you plan on drafting a defense early in some of your drafts, grab Washington. Definitely, they're probably my favorite defense this year.
And just how late they're going, I think it's a steal.
Absolutely.